I want to talk about inspiration today. And I'm just showing you on the screen here a picture that inspired me. Because inspiration comes from many different forms, many different places, but often it's people we know, things they've done, whatever, like for like. Um, so I'm just going to read what's written about this by this friend of mine. Took this at the crack of sparrow's fart this morning on my phone, channeling Richard Avedon. And then there's a link to his stuff, particularly the American West series. Who remains one of my favourite photographers of all time. He used a white sheet hung up in natural light to pose his subjects against. No studio lights. And then she says, I just used the sky and a dandelion clock. I like this because the dandelion clock is not perfect. It's got a bit broken and at the wrong angle. And also, I'm really into black and white at the moment. It takes me back to when I first started as a photographer back in the days of film. Yeah, man, I'm that old, kids. Right, so there's her picture there. Okay, so here we are on the other camera, and what I did, I went out into the garden and I pinned up a piece of white sheet on the back of a garden chair, and in front of that I got this camera out. This is the Speed Graphic, and I tried to get a picture of a close-up picture of an allium flower, because I needed something a bit bigger than a dandelion. So there I am, I've got the tripod set up, I have my piece of white card behind the plant pinned on the back of a chair, garden chair, and I experimented with various lenses. So I used this lens, which is the standard Graflex lens. Sorry, Grafx lens on the Speed Graphic. I also attached to the front this lens, which is an old projector lens. So I had that on there because with the Speed Graphic, of course, it has the focal plane shutter mechanism in the back. So I could wind this up and fire. So although the old projector lens doesn't have a shutter in the lens, I could use the shutter on the back of the camera. This is another projector lens. You can see my high quality lens boards that that I make. This one's 100mm, 4 inches. This lens, this one's I think is about 120, 115, 120. It's very slightly longer from memory. But both of those are super wide, and I did take images. One problem I encountered was that although it wasn't a windy day, there was enough of a breeze, and by the time getting close up, I factored in my bellows extension factor, because obviously I was out here somewhere. That's obviously a lot longer than the focal length of the lens, so I had to do the maths on the I'd say in my head. I didn't do it in my head, on a calculator, as to get me in the right exposure level. But I ended up with some 5x4 negatives, which I will show you now. I'm just going to use this little mini light panel to give you a slightly better view, hopefully. So there's one negative. Hang on. There's one. Camera's got it now. And there's the other one. Now this is the one that I went with. Okay. There we go. That's the one I went with. Let's turn that off. Now I do have a 5x4 enlarger, but as I've shown you previously, my darkroom is nowhere near ready. So I had to scan them into the computer. Sorry, taking a while over I had to scan them into the computer, and then I did have to send the scan off to be printed. So let me see if I can bring up the scan, and then you can see what I've got there. Yeah, so this is the TIFF after I'd resized it, and I think edited it. So this is I scaled it for the print, so it's 300 dpi for the final print, and that's dots per inch on the print, which is, high quality print. So I scaled it to 6,000 by 8,400 pixels, which was a reduction. So this is a 50 megapixel file. Originally, it was 700 and something. It was crazy. It was a crazy big file because I used the Epson 4990, Epson Perfection 4990. The highest that will scan to is 4,800 pixels per inch. So I then scaled it back from there to get it the right size for the printers. So that's that bit. Let's go and show you what I got back from the printers. We had kicking around at the house a very large picture frame that we had bought, and that's why I scaled it to whatever it was on there. I can't remember what I said now, 6,000 by 8,400 or something. Just let me show you the picture. I have to stand up for this. There you go, you got the shine of the you got the shine of the thing, but that's the end result there. Look at that. So that's one to go on the wall in a, I think it's going to go in the bedroom. So there you go. But I'll see if I can get a better detail shot for you. I should say as well, I developed the negatives using Rodinal and 1:100 for an hour. It's Fomapan 200 film, which is, the results can be a little bit dodgy. It's not the most reliable film stock, that's for sure. The negatives did take a lot of digital cleaning. Some of that was dust, some of that was my handling. The emulsion on Fomapan is known for being very, very soft, and there were some scratches in the emulsion, which I presume had been loading into the dark slide. So as you sort of push it in, down, I think they got scratched there. It's either putting it in or taking it out. So I sort of cleaned all those up digitally. Most of it was dust spots though, so that was not too bad. But on a file that size, it did take a really long time to deal with the dust. So that's it really. That's the story of my recent piece of inspiration and how it came to be, and there it is, the final mounted print. Just putting it out there, what's your inspiration going to be? Where are you going to find your next photograph? And although I didn't follow an entirely analog process because I had to do a digital process, I think the results were probably better than I would have got in a darkroom. I should say, actually, people talk about the cost of darkroom paper and stuff like that, but actually standard printer paper, not standard printer paper, this is quite a posh printer paper, but standard printer paper is expensive. printer paper is expensive. It's consumable. They're always going to hit you for that, like ink and paper. Now, I didn't print it myself. I sent this off to DS Colour Labs, DSCL in the UK. Brilliant service. I mean, I cannot fault the quality of the print that they've done. There are, I have to say, a couple of dust spots that I missed. They're tiny little things. You may have spotted them, I don't know. But you have to be absolutely staring at it from, this kind of space to see them. So that's absolutely not on them. The print itself is phenomenal. The packaging that it came in was great. The service was brilliant. But because I paid for an expensive paper, I paid £45 for that print. That included the postage, I should say. So yeah, it was just under 40. Actually, no, I think it was 46 quid altogether. The framers I already had. I had to buy glass. I got that cut locally at Glazier's for 13 quid. So that was a bit of a bargain. But yeah, good result. And obviously the digital, the hybrid workflow, that's what I need to say. The hybrid workflow allowed me to clean up all those dust spots and scratches that I wouldn't really have been able to do in the darkroom. I'd have ended up with a print that was not as nice as that. And whilst I hate to say that, being an analog fan, they did a really, really good job. So, pleased as punch. But where's your next piece of inspiration going to come from? What? Well, I don't suppose you know, because it just pops up, doesn't it? But the important thing, however you do it, is to print your work, because that's what photography is all about. We can all look at things on a screen, but a final print, brilliant. Thank you for watching. Get inspired. Tell me about your prints. Thank you.